Church was just bad. It just was so boring. And we were always getting in trouble.
It was a waste of time. I just sat there and I would just look around and go, what do these people get out of this?
And so it began. Two bored little boys, one in Ohio, the other in Tennessee, wishing church could somehow be better, or at least less painful. 2 decades later, their paths would cross in Rochester, Michigan. Dave, the new chaplain of the Detroit Lions, began attending Faith Church, where Steve just signed on as associate pastor.
When Dave and I met, it was instant friendship. I mean, we were two peas in a pod.
We worked out a little bit together, played a little ball together, just hung out in casual settings. I started to see what his heart was about reaching lost people.
To find out what other people wanted from church, Dave and Steve decided to knock on a few doors, and then a few more doors. 1,400 interviews later, the two ex-college quarterbacks had their playbook for a new kind of church.
I wanted a church where unchurched people could come to and enjoy it and be challenged with the invitation to discover who Jesus was. In terms of the details, I had no idea. That's where Mark Nelson came in.
We felt it was imperative to provide music and drama and video and whatever we would use that was on the par with what they were seeing in their week, whether it was on television or going to plays or listening to music at clubs. We wanted it to be something they could understand.
The unorthodox mailers went out to 15,000 area homes, including that of a Detroit Free Press worker. 2 weeks before Kensington's first service, this story showed up on the front page.
I'll never forget going out that morning, grabbing the paper off the driveway and seeing that thing on the front page and just going, I was literally, oh my God, what are you doing?
First service, I was scared to death. I was more nervous than any football game I ever played. We opened the door to look outside to see if anybody's coming. and I really thought, there'd probably be a car or two. We opened the door and there's all these cars.
Good morning. I want to welcome you to Kensington Community Church.
The beginning of Kensington really did meet our expectations. I mean, we still dreamed of even having more, but it still was wonderful to have, I think it was 463 people that first Sunday.
Every week it seemed like it was getting bigger and bigger. And every week we'd pull into the parking lot and I would say to our kids, look at this. Look what God is doing.
As we began to grow and as we saw people's lives changing and the impact that God was allowing us to have on the community, we just would look at each other and go, oh my gosh, it's us, it's just us, and God's totally doing this.
On the count of 3, ready? 3. Okay.
There was such a spirit of joy and fun that we realized it had lasted.
When Jesus chose his first followers, he chose super average guys, really. And their world was about as big as their fishing boat, the first group. And what Jesus did is he invited them to a journey where, completely unexpected to them, they found themselves touching the whole world. So for the last 22 years, we've been on the exact same kind of journey. Average people being invited into something extraordinary. So at the core, the foundation of this journey is experiencing the love of Jesus Christ personally, and then seeing that expressed by loving Him in return, loving others, locking arms in community, and living open-handedly. So when God called us to the Metro Detroit region, He called us to a local place. Our commitment is to see Christ expressed locally, visibly. Of all the things we do here and around the world, what we see and do with the brother who's next to us is what people are going to remember the most. From the beginning, it was our dream to plant churches around the world, but we had no idea how the world was going to shrink into a global village, a village that for us now includes South Africa and Haiti and Palestine and Kenya and India. It's unreal. And as we've gone to these places, we realize that part of our job in sharing Jesus is to engage with the needs of people, orphan care, elderly, hospital, medical care, students, clean water, and all of this has been so enriching to our lives. Did you know that a new church is 20 times more likely to reach a new person than an established church? That's why we have started churches from the beginning. We've started dozens of churches reaching thousands and thousands of people. And here's the reality. Every time we start a new church, they're able to reach people we can't. That's why we will always be about church planting. Of all the things we've done, my biggest surprise is campusing. Campusing is just restarting Kensington again in a new place with the same experience. But the shocker was every time we do it, we mobilize hundreds of new jobs of people who have never often stepped out to serve God with their gifts and their abilities. Right now, we're looking at 3 new locations that we're really excited about. That could be a new campus, and that many of you are going to be the fuel to make that campus happen. When I was 30, I burned out on working with high school kids and students, said I would never do it again. But the last few years in Kensington, I have been amazed at the most passionate, teachable students that I've ever encountered. We have so many teens and preteens at Kensington who want to make a difference in this world by following Jesus Christ and serving others. And I realize now it's probably our most important contribution is preparing this next generation to follow Him. So as we begin this new ministry season, what's going to make it great to me is you. It's going to be you stepping into an invitation, whether it's a men's or women's Bible study or a retreat or a local serving opportunity or one of our dozens of short-term mission trips or even the things that are happening at your local campus. Step in. Just like Jesus invited the first disciples, here we are, and He's inviting us again to do the same thing. Some of you take it for granted. You've heard it before. But I want to say today that this invitation is the most remarkable invitation in the world. The invitation to follow Him. The invitation to be His hands and His feet and His voice in the world. And really more than anything else, I'm hoping this year is the year you take a step. So let's move.